Hello everyone, welcome to Narain's Eye with MS. This is Narain and it's time for Friday Findings, and I'm so excited for the Friday Findings episode today because I actually had to choose between, I think, 4 or 5 different new articles to actually discuss just two of them. And no, I didn't decide to do all 5 articles. Some of them are actually very advanced, but I did find 2 articles that are definitely a lot of good news. So hopefully you do understand, hopefully you do like whatever I have to share. But more so than that, of course, you can read these articles. The links are going to be in the description section of this video. And of course, with either article, please do provide your thoughts, your comments, your insights, your experiences, especially considering that you might already have some experience with either of the two things that I'm going to be discussing today, so that we can get a conversation started and definitely help ourselves with conquering this disease. So without further ado, why don't we start with article number 1. Article number 1 actually concerns how certain psychoactive drugs might actually improve certain areas of MS symptoms while not really, while aggravating the opposite symptoms. So over here, one thing that was actually discussed was not only the fact that patients tend to use certain psychoactive substances, and I'll go over some of these psychoactive substances and their effects in a short time, but also for the medical caregivers, for the doctors to actually have open conversations. Uh, this article actually encourages open conversation between the healthcare providers and the patients to understand what might be certain psychoactive substances that can actually help them and assist them while they are experiencing MS symptoms. So what are some of these psychoactive substances? Glad you asked. So first of all, there are the easy ones. You do have certain things like caffeine, nicotine, you have alcohol. um, to some extent you can even have certain things like opioids or cannabis for that matter. Now, how do these individual psychoactive substances actually affect the body? So, if we start off with probably something that is available to most people that are of age, before I start, before I continue, I should say drink responsibly, is of course alcohol. And while alcohol can definitely calm you down, it can definitely reduce anxiety or even mellow you out. One thing that it might actually increase in is fatigue. I think I have shared certain experiences I've had with alcohol where I actually lower some of my inhibitions and I actually feel that I can walk a little better. But you know, while I have not personally noticed a lot of fatigue setting in as a result of drinking alcohol, I do know that there is a very low limit or a very low tolerance that I have for alcohol nowadays. So I tend to keep myself to 1 to 2 drink a night if I am ever, in that position of having alcohol. But going more towards the other side to something that is, of course, also available in huge quantities is caffeine. Now, caffeine can definitely help people with exhaustion or with fatigue, especially, or at least there have been quite a few patients who have um, described to researchers that they have seen a reduction in their fatigue as a result of consuming caffeine. Of course, with the consumption of caffeine, there is the heightened anxiety that might happen. It might also lead to certain things that also might not be very pleasurable. Um, so, there is a little bit of back and forth in terms of what is necessary at that point in time, right? One thing, if I want to be a little humorous over here, is just say that, if you don't know which one to have, alcohol or caffeine, I'd say have an Irish coffee. See how that works out for you. Just because you will probably see a reduction in your anxiety or a reduction in your depression, but at the same time, hopefully, you also gain the benefits of, the alcohol as well. But with that being said, that is one way to look at it. There are, of course, other psychoactive substances that were discussed in this article, including certain things like cannabis or opioids. Now, cannabis definitely has certain things. My previous experiences with cannabis have definitely um, led to feeling a lower pressure on the eye. Definitely a lot of times, if there is a certain level of pressure that I feel in my eye, right, a main cause of my oscillopsia, I have actually experienced my vision actually stabilizing. But there are, of course, um, drawbacks to using things like cannabis as well, right? There might be a certain increase in the feeling of anxiety. There might be a certain experience of feeling, uh, you know, of obviously falling asleep a lot faster. But you can, of course, consider that a positive or a negative depending on your situation. With opioids, again, considering that opioids have been used for pain relief, yes, quite a few patients have also commented on the benefits of using opioids for pain relief. Again, there are certain drawbacks to using opioids, the main ones being the ease of developing a certain reliance on that drug, along with um, you know the the um, the desire to maybe use it a little more. So definitely, if you are planning to use certain psychoactive substances to help you in your day-to-day life, definitely do discuss this with your healthcare provider, and definitely whatever you do end up using, do so um, you know do so wisely, and definitely do not um, do take them in moderation, whichever substance you decide to use. So that was definitely article number one. Please do provide your thoughts, your insights, your experiences, so that we can definitely get a conversation started, and definitely understand how some of these psychoactive substances have helped you overcome your day-to-day issues with multiple sclerosis. Now we will go on to article number two. So article number two features a joint study done by two different research groups, and both of these research groups actually concluded that an exercise molecule by the name of ericin can actually help protect neurons from degeneration, and uh, and can actually provide protective effects as a result of its presence in as of now mouse models. So what does this mean? That means that certain chemicals or certain things that are created as a result of exercise, that being the molecule ericin, when present in mice with MS like degeneration happening, did see an improvement and a protection against future um, future inflammation related degeneration because of the presence of irisin. So what does this mean? This means that irisin, hopefully, I mean, this is working in mice. It may or may not work in humans, but only time can tell. But what this actually means is that if it does prove to be true, then irisin could be something that a lot of healthcare professionals, um, a lot of future treatments can involve the presence of irisin being there to actually provide an additional level of protection against inflammation and, of course, the degeneration that happens as a result of inflammation. One thing to also note is that um, considering that this is also something that is very prevalent with people with progressive forms of MS. Of course, being someone with a progressive form of MS, or more likely a progressive form of MS, this will definitely be a huge godsend, considering that there might be a way to have people actually delay or arrest a lot of the a lot of the progressive degeneration that is involved in multiple sclerosis. Again, the article of this uh, for this study is available in the description section of this video, so please do read it. Please do come to your own conclusions regarding this, and please do share your own thoughts, your experiences, of course your insights, so that we can get a conversation started. Personally, one thing I can say is that sure, I do feel pretty tired after exercising. Nowadays I do, I do yoga 6 days a week, but and I definitely do feel tired, but there is a certain level of also feeling great afterwards, right? It could be just the happy chemicals flowing through my body, but I think another part of it is to just know that because my mood is improving, I do tend to notice that my body maybe moves a little better, even though right after yoga I say I still feel a little tired or fatigued. So yes, please do provide your thoughts, your insights, your experiences, so that we can get the conversation started. And of course, you are more than welcome to even share your own ideas of how you can actually make most use of this new finding. So with that said, that was article number 2. So hopefully you found both of these articles very interesting, and I hope you do take your time to read these articles so that you will have a much better understanding of which article might actually help you out a little bit more, considering that both of these articles actually discuss certain substances or certain parts which might impact a much larger group of people who do have multiple sclerosis. This is definitely this episode is definitely one for almost everyone to watch out for, and for everyone to actually share their thoughts on this. So please feel free to share your thoughts, your insights, your experiences, so that we can get the conversation started. And of course, with that said, I do understand that it is Friday, so I do hope that you have some great things planned for your weekend. One thing that I am very excited for is that my sister is coming tomorrow, so I am definitely looking forward to that. I even decided to wear some new clothes tomorrow to welcome her. But of course, with that said, I won't hold you any longer. This is Nareen's IFMS. I am Nareen, and here is wishing you a happy weekend, a good night, sweet dreams, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.